What's up, Juggalos? Wicked Clown Reviews here. I'm going to be reviewing every single EP and LP released by Psychopathic Records in chronological order. And up next is the Island Records version of The Great Milenko. Now, this is sort of a part two review because I did the Hollywood Records version previously. And in that video, I talked about all of the tracks on that. So normally I talk about all the tracks and then I show off all the different CD pressings. For this one, I'm only going to be talking about the extra tracks featured on the Island release. And then afterwards, I'm going to go into all the different CD pressings. So check out that other review if you haven't. It features one of the rarest ICP CDs I own that I'm pretty proud of. So yeah, give that a check. So, this video is going to feature the most CDs of any video that I ever post. I have an obnoxious amount of Malinkos. This album by far has the most variants and repressings of anything, and I don't have them all, but I've got a lot. So yeah, we'll get into that. First, let's go ahead and check out the extra tracks that were not featured on the Hollywood release. So after Hollywood Records pulled The Great Milenko from shelves because the church was mad at it and they were trying to avoid controversy, Island Records saw an opportunity because nothing sells better than controversy. So they decided to buy the rights of The Great Milenko from Hollywood Records and sign the Insane Clown Posse to a multi-album deal. And this decision paid off because The Great Milenko, this version went platinum, multi-platinum actually, and it's recently was certified double platinum. But I really think part of the reason there was so much hype for this album was the controversy. I mean, it's a great recipe for sales. And, not only that, but releasing it in 4 different colors certainly helped. So yeah, it was a big risk for Island and ICP, and it paid off. And, as much as it sucks of what Hollywood Records did to ICP, it's one of those things where down the road, this was actually the best thing that could happen to them. So, yeah. This version of The Great Milenko features 3 extra tracks: Under the Moon, Boogie Woogie Woo, and the Neden game. So let's go ahead and talk about those tracks incorporated here. So Under the Moon is the new ending to side 1, which is Phantasms. And, this song is a fucking masterpiece. It's one of the best ICP songs ever written. I had mentioned that I think Halls of Illusion is the greatest ICP track in a short I did recently, and someone commented that Under the Moon is possibly better, and I think that's fair. While I don't think Under the Moon represents ICP overall as well as Halls of Illusions, Under the Moon might be an objectively better track on its own. It's a great analysis of like loyalty and betrayal and trust and sacrifice, and it has some really dark themes. And I love the beat so much. It's one of the creepier Mikey Clark beats on this album, and Violent J has so much passion behind his words that you almost really believe that this actually happened and it's not just a story from his like fictional perspective. And the reason it was removed, I speculate, is because it mentions them being in school in the beginning, and I feel like since they're supposed to be like teenagers in the story, that the Hollywood Records got worried that it was gonna be impressionable on young kids or whatever. And I don't know. That's just my theory. That's the only reason I can see, because it's not a particularly explicit song. But that is something that pisses people off. So that's what I'm assuming. But yeah, Under the Moon, it's really incredible and rounds out this first half of Great Milenko exceptionally well. And then as we get into the enchantments side of things, Phantasms and Enchantments, by the way, is how the album split on cassette. So yeah, it's just fun to refer to because these albums were always designed with cassette in mind. Anyways, we got Boogie Woogie Woo. Now, Boogie Woogie Woo and the Neden Game, frankly, are two of the weaker songs on this album. And so, while their exclusion from the Hollywood version sucks, it really doesn't bring down the album that much. But ironically, Hollywood are fucking idiots because Boogie Woogie Woo and the Neden Game were the two most popular songs off this album. And the Neden Game's popularity has declined a bit over years, but Boogie Woogie Woo is more popular than ever now with TikTok and stuff. So yeah, it's just funny. I bet if they knew that they would have made money off of it, they wouldn't have done what they did. But yeah, Boogie Woogie Woo is another example of just a creepy, fun ICP track. And I really think it's one of their funnier songs. I've heard it so many times that sometimes I lose appreciation for it. But this last time when I was listening to it, it was just like, some of the gags and the jokes they do are just really are funny. And the beginning, the vocal, like, screech that Jay does is so impressive. He holds that note for such a long time as it bleeds into his rap. It's one of the most impressive things that Violent J has done vocally on any album. And yeah, I think the reason why this song was removed is because it's about killing kids, which is also, a big no-no for a lot of people. But yeah, Boogie Woogie Woo, it's a little overrated, but sometimes songs are played out for a reason and are popular for a reason. And so, it's a great track. The Neden Game, this was at one point ICP's most popular song. I remember even hearing it as a kid, people showing me the Neden Game. And, the problem with it being the most popular ICP song is it's a very silly, stupid track that, like, I don't think it encouraged people to listen to ICP. Like, people liked the song, but then they were like, okay, that was funny. Now I'll move on. I'm not interested in listening to more. So yeah, that's kind of always been the downfall of the Neden Game. Is it's a great silly song, but I don't think it invites people to discover how really intelligent and creative ICP is. But yeah, it's a play on the dating game. I talked about this in my Mutilation Mix review, but this is an updated version with slightly altered lyrics, and it's really good. I think it was removed because even with the tamed down lyrics, it was still considered like too sexist or whatever. But it's funny because, like, I think all three of these songs, there's nothing really on them that's particularly bad compared to the rest of the songs. Like, how did Piggy Pie make it, but none of the others did? I don't know. Whatever. I don't understand Hollywood's logic. But like I said, in the end, it was the best possible thing because it increased sales for ICP down the road. So yeah, the Island Records version, this is the true version of the Great Melinko, and it's a masterpiece. I think it's one of the greatest rap albums ever made. And I say that not just as a juggalo, but just as a fan of music in general. It's absolutely phenomenal. And yeah. So let's get into all the different CD pressings. So Great Melinko was released in 4 different colors, the most prominent being purple, red, and green, and the very rare gold version. Now, when it comes to first pressings of the Great Melinko, a lot of people don't know, but Island Records actually reused the Hollywood booklets. So as I showed in my last video, the Hollywood booklets do not have a serial number down here. And when you look at the booklets themselves, it says Every Last Hollywood Records Ninja, and it ends with Jeremy. Now, if you look at a copy of the Island Records booklet, you can see that it says, special Juggalo love props to Island Records and everybody at our new home. So this line was added to the pressings that Island actually did, and then this offset the words so that it actually says Ben at the end. And then when you look at the booklet, you can see the serial number down here. So Basically, when Island Records bought the rights to the Great Melinko, Hollywood sold them all of their leftover discs that they had the CD companies return. And Island repackaged them to save money because these booklets don't say Hollywood Records. They don't have a logo specifically for them anywhere. And all of those pressings have made in the USA by pmdc. And they all have the same serial number code, but this IFPI code up at the top and down there in the black as well, it varies from disc to disc. There is no matching code that will match a copy of the album. So as you can see, I'm not going to go through all of them, but there you go. No serial number. And for this one, no serial number. I'm not going to open the booklet specifically. Here, Gold Island Melinko, no serial number right here. So yeah, basically, the reason that Gold Island Melinkos are so difficult to find for the Island pressings is because they never made any themselves. They just repackaged what Hollywood did, and then when Island reprinted them, they only did these 3 colors. Now, I know some juggalos, might dispute that. So, how do I know? What if a juggalo fucked these up and put the wrong booklets in? Well, the proof is in this. This is a promo copy of the Great Melinko released by Island Records. You can see Island Records here. And there's the official promo stamp through it. And if you look at the booklet, boom, no serial number. And let's take the booklet out. You can see that stamp right there. So, and if you watched my last video, you know that Hollywood Records promos have the sticker on the cover itself. There's the promo. So only Island Records did promos like this. And if you look in the booklet, you can see that it does not say Juggalo Love Props to Island Records, that it ends with Jeremy. This is undeniable proof that Hollywood Records that Island Records reused the Hollywood booklets. And so this is the only one I've got for this color. I would love to get the other colors as well, especially a gold one. And side note on the Gold Melinko that I forgot to mention in my last video, there are actually 2 colors of the Gold Melinko, really. If you notice, this one is much more yellowy, and it matches the tone of this, while some copies are much more of a bronze color. It's a very light difference, but you can tell. And I don't think these are intentionally different colors. They just kind of came out that way in the pressing. But if you're a uber completionist like me, you want both gold variants and not just the one. So yeah. So then Island Records released their own version with the serial number and the PMDC logo on the bottom, made in the USA by PMDC. Now, I'm not totally sure how many pressings Island did on day one. If on the first day of release, it was all Hollywood booklets, or if it was a mixture of Hollywood booklets and some of the regular ones. Island Records is such a big company, and they made so many copies of the Great Melinko that it's extraordinarily difficult to keep track. But yeah, and another way, when you look at them, it's harder to tell really in the video, but the Hollywood pressings do look a little different than the Island booklet pressings. You can see the Hollywood pressing here, the foil kind of blends in better with the background, where it's a bit more separated, and it almost looks like 3D in some ways. They both look great, but yeah, the Hollywood Records versions really do look a little bit better. Yeah. And then we've got the ultra rare blue Melinko. Nah, I'm just fucking with you, juggalos. It's a green Melinko, just damaged by the sun. So here's the thing. If someone tries to tell you that, blue Melinkos, some people consider these to be misprints. They aren't misprints. They are indeed just sun damaged albums. But, you know, I really think they look cool as fuck. I actually purposefully did this to this copy. And it's also a pmdc pressing. But yeah, blue Malinkos are technically a myth. They're just sun damaged green Malinkos, but they still look fresh. So what do we got next? We've got, these are European Malinkos. Okay, so the European Malinkos, they are the best looking ones in the bunch. They look so crisp, and the quality of the foil on them is absolutely outstanding. I mean, try my best to compare it here. But yeah, you can just kind of see like that there are more kind of, I don't know, like imperfections in the US foil, but the European ones, they just look so good. And then you can see the serial numbers are slightly different for the, come on, are slightly different for the Euro pressings. And then Euro pressings have this on the end as well. And you can see this one says printed in the US, but it does not say it up here. So yeah, this is a Euro purple press. Then it has slightly different information along here. And the serial number is up above instead of down below. And yeah, the quality of the photo on the back too is pretty similar. Not very different. Then we've got green Melinko. Again, just looks super crisp. Really, really love these Euro pressings. I highly recommend getting some. And then I believe on here, the background is a little more prominently green than this one. No, I guess they both are. Never mind. And then oh, shit. Come on. Then we've got a sealed red version. Again, it just looks so clean. And I love this French here. ICP Le Rap Chafou Blanc. So cool. And yeah, they got the sticker, the album they were afraid to let you hear. But yeah, Euro pressings are pretty tough to find, not extraordinarily difficult, and you can normally find them for a good price. But yeah, keep an eye out for the logo on the back, and highly recommend getting some European pressings. So first for this channel, an Australian pressing. That's right, I do have some Australian pressings. I know that every video I make, the Australian version is normally the one I'm missing, but here I've got it. And why do I have it? Because it has a green disc, which is super fresh, man. I really do wish the disc colors matched the Melinko itself on all of these. Not only does it just look cool, but it'd just be a better way to keep track of the pressings, because yeah, there are so many, and you know, it's fucking impossible. Again, the thing is up there. And yeah, the funny thing about the Australian Malinkos, and you know, you can really see here the quality difference when you compare them. Even the green looks a little slightly different. But the funny thing about the Australian Malinkos is it's actually off center. If you compare his hand here, you can see the finger, the whole body is shifted over, and it's not centered at all, which I really think is very, very interesting. And I think, yeah, it looks like the numbers on the sides are similar. Kind of see the pressing differences here. Now, even better than the European Malinkos are the green Canadian Malinkos. The green here, it pops so much. You can really see like all the other pressings have a much lighter green, but the Canadian green Malinkos just like pop extraordinarily. So yeah, for me, I would say like when it comes to purple and red, those are Euro pressings look the best, and then Canadian pressings of the green Melinko are where it's at. You can see the serial number is in white there. The logo's on the back, and then Columbia. Oh, this is the Columbia House version. Okay, so this is the CRC Canadian pressing. So Columbia House was a record company club in the 90s and 2000s where you could like, pay for, it was like 10 cents per CD, and then later they'd jack up the price. It was kind of a scam, but yeah, there's a lot of exclusive versions of ICP albums through Columbia House. You can see the disc looks a little different. And so yeah, that's a Colombian CRC version. So I got it mixed up. I thought this was the Colombian, but so this is the normal Canadian pressing, and they look pretty similar. I'd go as so far as to say they're the same. Also, if you notice that the parental advisory is on the left on the Canadian versions, all other versions, the parental advisory is on the right. And yeah, the CRC pressing, yeah, has that white there. But yeah, I'm glad I caught that. And yeah, on the back, the CRC pressing, the Canadian version. Come on, focus. The Canadian version has the white there. Yeah, pretty sick. And here are the CRC US pressings, and I have a misprint version and a regular version. So when it comes to the CRC US pressings, they have a very unique look to them that's kind of easy to spot. The foil is much thicker, and it kind of you can see the X around the eye. It's just not as I don't know how to describe it. It's just the foil kind of overtakes some of the detail, but they look really cool. But yeah, comparing two US versions, you can kind of spot the differences. And if you train your eye well enough, you can even tell without, looking at the rest of the details. But yeah, this case is super fucked up, but I actually prefer to have the original cases, even if they're fucked up, because they're just much heavier. Somebody like attacked this one. But yeah, with the American CRC Colombian pressings, you can tell by the CRC that's right underneath the logo. And then manufactured by Columbia House. So these are pretty cool. And yeah, here we have keep shit in order. Here we have a misprinted version. So what I like about this misprint version is it reveals that the face underneath is actually all white. So if you were to remove the foil or get a version that doesn't have it stamped, it would be a white background mixed in with the red colors, where the way they normally press these is the purple or the color would be just against black, and then they foil stamp it. And so yeah, this shows that the CRC pressings are completely different manufacturing wise, and I think that's part of why they have such a unique look to them. And yeah, the CRC pressings also have that little a different serial number down below. But yeah, CRC pressings, super dope. And then the other record club, this version is very famous, is the BMG record club. And this is the non-holo Melinko from BMG. So if you get one of these, it says printed in the US on the bottom instead of the serial number. If you get a BMG, make sure it has this logo on it, because a lot of times a normal CD will just be inside of it if someone fucks up. And yeah, so double check that. And then the other non-holo Melinko is a green Canadian Melinko. These were reissues in the mid-2000s, I think. And basically, I think they just didn't want to pay to have the foil done again. Yeah, I really like the look of the green Canadian ones. And you can see the kind of color difference here, where this one is much lighter and this one is much darker. All right, I've still got more. What do we got here? I'm pretty sure these are UML pressings. So US UML pressings. So PMDC, the company, switched to UML. And so when the Great Milenko was repressed in the 2000s, it was... they had UML at the bottom of the disc. Where is it? Yeah, made in the US by UML, which is the same label that like Bazaar was on. And this disc is actually kind of has a printing error. You can see that the font itself is kind of hollow, where the font should be solid. And I don't think this is like a variant. I do think it's a printing error of some kind. But super cool. Love it. And the UML pressings, they're slightly less quality. You can see just like the foil is pretty rough on them. But, you know, they're still, you know, good copies to have. Okay. Then we have didx pressings. So didx ICP has been using for a long time, although this is Island Records using them. But yeah, you can see, you can tell at the bottom, didx right down there. And the discs for the didx versions, they look a little more matte. I'm not sure if it'll show through on the video well, but they look a little more orange and less yellow. And they kind of, yeah, they just have a matte look rather than like a solid black. They almost look cheaper, but you know, it's like didx is a reliable company, so they're legit. And I do think the foil printing is better than the UML versions. And I'm fairly certain the didx versions are the ones that come with the first 6 box set, so they're kind of tough to find individually. However, I've never seen a first 6 box set with a purple Melinko, so I could be mistaken on that. If you have any insight on the didx pressings, please let me know. And I don't have a green didx pressing. And then this is the last series of Malinkos that were pressed in all 3 colors. Well, all 3 main colors. These are the universal pressings, also known as the EDC pressings. So if you look on the bottom, you can see the Universal logo, and then it says made in the USA by EDC. So again, these company names just keep changing. You know, it goes from PMDC to UML to UME and then EDC. And oddly enough, there are no UME pressings of the Great Milenko as far as I know. They did Ringmaster and Carnival of Carnage, and Jekyll Brothers, but yeah, I have never seen any. And one thing about it too is the font of the serial number on the bottom of these changed for the universal pressings. Let me pull it up. It's very hard to tell, but the font is thicker on the earlier pressings. All right, and last but not least, well, maybe least, this is the newest pressing of the Great Milenko. These were printed in the Czech Republic, and so they do have the European little kind of identifier here. However, these are not like Euro releases. It's more of like an outsourcing type of thing. If you go on Amazon right now and buy the Great Milenko, this is the version you're going to get. Do not buy this from shady eBay sellers who want to be like, it's a Czech version, so it's worth $100. No, it's not. These are the current new versions of the Great Milenko that are mass produced. And, you know, the cover looks a little weird. It's, let me compare it to the other non-foil version. You can see that the cover has been kind of blown up and stretched wide. And there's something odd about it. It just doesn't quite look right. The nose especially. And yeah, I mean, you know, they're cool to have as a completionist, but I really recommend if you're just wanting one fucking copy of the CD and you're not insanely obsessive like me, don't go for this new printing. It just looks a little whack. But yeah, those are all of my copies of the Great Milenko. As far as I know, the only ones I'm missing are the gold, purple, red promo versions that are stamped, the didx green version, and yeah, I think that was it. There might have been another one that I'm just not remembering. Also there were advanced copies that were made in cardboard cases with plain blank sleeves. Those are really hard to find, but not officially released. So yeah, what do you have any other versions of Melinko that I'm missing? What are your thoughts on what I said about Island reusing Hollywood booklets? Because I know a lot of people, might contend to not believe it, and if you don't believe it, then I just say, show me the proof. Show me a copy of a gold Melinko with a serial number here and the rest of the info on the inside. And another little funny thing about Island Gold Malinkos is they're often a little more beat up on the edges, and the reason I think this is because they were taken out of the booklet on a factory, or of the case on a factory line, and then put in to the case here. So even if you look up photos of sealed copies, they've always got a little bit of extra edge damage. Wonder why. But yeah, that is my collection of Malinkos. So yeah, Juggalos, what's next? Up next, I think, is Forgotten Freshness Volume 1 and 2. I'm pretty damn sure that's what it is. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, check it. Whoop, whoop.